Greetings builders, Daniel here and welcome to another top 3 video where every week I choose a topic and show you my 3 favorite builds of it. Today's team is for those who like to have an army by their side. I'm talking about the Minion builds, and if you wanna try any of those you can find links for POBs and complete guides in the video description. And if this video helps you, please leave a thumbs up to support the channel. Thank you very much and let's get into it! Let's start with a classic minion build, the Bomber Minions Infernalist with the Witch class. Bomber Minions is just a nickname I gave to the skeleton arsonists, and yes, minions are still OP on PoE 2. Those here throw countless bombs dealing tons of damage to everything around you. To visit the pros of this build, I will start saying that as for now, this is the strongest and safest build I've played on this game. The campaign felt like cheating, and once I've used some currency to buy my endgame gear, I felt untouchable. My energy shield rarely drops below maximum, and big bosses just explode in less than a second. Now to list the cons, I must say that even though this build is godlike on many aspects, the clear speed is not great. You have many powerful minions dealing a lot of damage around your screen, but it's like you always have to wait for them. You don't have that amazing feeling of knowing exactly where you're damaging and just going on your own pace. Talking about the budget, this build is cheap. You can get it destroying low tier maps with only around 80 exalteds. To advance to mid tier maps I recommend around 150 exalteds, and for the high tier ones around 4 divines. This might look expensive, but before advancing to high tier maps you're going to drop a lot of exalted orbs on low tier ones. Don't forget that on poebuilds.net you can find a list with all the equipment that you need to buy for this build, with direct links for examples being sold by other players. You only need one mandatory unique item for this build, and it's pretty cheap, the Oaksworn Shield that not only grants plus 52 spirit but also a lot of chaos resistance and block chests. For clear speed I'll give this build 8 out of 10. As mentioned before, even though you have many minions dealing a lot of damage all around your screen, you can't go on your own pace. You always have to kind of wait for them. The single target damage is incredible and deserves 10 out of 10. This build not only has a strong damage but also a lot of debuffs that cause bosses to be destroyed in seconds without much effort. You'll be amazed with how much DPS you get with low investment. For this survivability I'll give it 10 out of 10. With this build you easily get a huge amount of energy shield that keeps recovering and overflowing while killing enemies. You also count with a good amount of block chance from your shield, and all of that combined with the safety of a minion build. Believe me when I say that it's hard to die with this one. Now let's take the previous build to another level with the Frost Minions Infernalist with the Witch class. With so many improvements to minion builds in the last patches, it's time for us to have a mid-budget version capable of destroying all content without breaking a sweat. To list the pros of this build, I'll have to start saying that this one is not only capable of dealing a big load of damage but also keep enemies frozen into place for maximum comfort. It's a great combination of clear speed, boss damage and survivability. The best part is that you can easily clear T4 simulacrums for a big profit. Now to list the cons, the main issue of this build is its affordability. For it to work properly you need to raise your minions level to at least 35, which is not cheap. Talking about the budget, as I just mentioned, this build is expensive. You need to invest at least 15 divine orbs to make it work. We need 3 mandatory unique items for this build. The first and most important is the Trained Timber Mace that grants plus 3 to level of all minions. Next, we also need the Warrior Invictus body armor with maximum life and spirit. This way we can get a good amount of energy shield, elemental resistance, maximum life and spirit on a single item. Finally, we also need the Bones of War boots that reduce the amount of spirit your minions reserve, granting a big undead army. For clear speed I'll give this build 9 out of 10. With the recent minion change we can just sleep slam the whole map while our minions teleport close to us and destroy everything nearby. It's a lot more satisfying than before. The single target damage is amazing and deserves 10 out of 10. We have 20 minions dealing tens of thousands of damage per second. It destroys even the biggest bosses in a blink of an eye. For this survivability I also give it 10 out of 10. We have a big pool of energy shield, green fist, a minion that takes 20% of the damage for us, and a minion army ready to destroy everything that gets near you. And finally we have the ultimate minion build. the Sniper Minion's Gemling Legionnaire with the Mercenary class. If you thought that the 20,000 energy shield from the Bomber Minions or the 24 army from the Frost Minions was a lot, now I present you the final form of minion builds. With an army of 38 and over 25k energy shield, the Sniper Minions can complete any content with ease, even AFK T4 simulacrons. To list the pros of this build, I don't even know where to start. With that huge energy shield pool and minions capable of tens of millions of damage per second, every content in the game is just trivial. Once this build is complete, you just need to choose which part of the game you're going to destroy next. Now, to list the cons, I have to say that this build is the most expensive I've done so far. Unfortunately, this much power doesn't come on a low price. Talking about the budget, as I just said, this build is really expensive. You need to invest at least 50 Divine Orbs to make it work properly. You need 5 mandatory unique items for this build. The first one is the Trank Timber Mace that grants +3 to level of all minions. Next, we also need the Ghost Wraith Body Armor that grants a percentage of your life as extra energy shield. Here we are going to abuse the strength stacking potential of the Gemling Legionnaire to generate a huge pool of energy shield. Next, we need the Bones of Oro boots that reduce the amount of spirit your minions reserve, granting a big undead army. We also need to look for 3 Grand Spectrum Jewels that together grant 18% increased spirit. And finally, we also need the Against the Darkness unique jewel with at least +10 spirit per notable node. This way we can get almost +100 spirit. For clear speed, I'll give this build 9 out of 10. You don't need to worry about anything, just keep lip slamming and your energy shield will be full and your minions will kill everything in your way. The single target damage is out of the charts and deserves 10 out of 10. You're going to kill T4 pinnacle bosses in less than 5 seconds. They won't even have the chance to start their mechanics. For this survivability, I'll also give it 10 out of 10. On this video I have over 25,000 energy shield with only 373 strength. If you guys are willing to spend more divines focusing on strain on your gear, you can push this number to over 30k. This on a minion build with Green Fist that restores almost 2k energy shield apiece is the supreme survivability. And that's it for today, guys. What did you think about those minion builds? Please take a second to tell me in the comments and leave a thumbs up to support the channel. I wish you guys an amazing day and don't forget to keep building!